All right, let's just jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're uncovering something pretty wild, the hidden biophysical microenvironment that is secretly altering your body every single night. You know, we usually think of sleep as this purely neurological event, right? Your brain powers down, memories consolidate, your nervous system resets, the whole shebang. But what if I told you that while your brain is resting, your physical body is locked in an invisible, microscopic, biomechanical battle? Yep. Today, we're diving deep into the science of skin, textiles, and human performance to reveal the actual hidden operating system of your body while you rest.
Now, I've got a question for you, and honestly, it might completely change how you look at your bedroom forever. What is actually happening to your skin's biological barrier during those 8 hours of unconsciousness? We all kind of assume our beds are these safe little havens for recovery, but as you'll see, the clinical data paints a remarkably different picture. We're going to decode exactly what goes down when we close our eyes, and how the very materials we sleep on dictate everything from cellular aging to reaching our deepest, most restorative sleep cycles.
So here is the absolute crucial point. Think about this. A full third of your life is spent totally unconscious. And during that time, you're continuously subjecting your delicate facial tissue to these invisible, distorting forces. Just let that sink in for a second. If you sleep on your side or stomach, which, by the way, about 70% of us do, you're literally mashing your face into a surface in the exact same way, night after night, for decades. From a strictly biomechanical perspective, that is a massive, highly destructive amount of sustained pressure. To really understand this microscopic battlefield, we have to look at a super fascinating branch of physics called tribology. Basically, it's the study of friction, wear, and the mechanical interaction between surfaces in motion. In our case, we're looking at the dynamic interface between a sleeping human body and textiles. We aren't just talking about, feeling cozy here. We're talking about physical shear forces, thermal gradients, and serious mechanical resistance actively assaulting your cells. Every single time you shift in bed or even just breathe, your skin and hair are fighting these forces.
And this leads us to a really counterintuitive truth. When we look at the structure of traditional cotton, we see it's made up of these short, staple fibers spun together, with microscopic little ends poking out everywhere to create what is essentially an abrasive grid. As you move around, this rough grid catches on your biological structures. Silk, on the other hand, is an ultra-smooth protein-based fiber. It acts just like a protective, friction-reducing shield. It's a total game changer.
Now this introduces a massive, completely unseen saboteur in the aging process. TEWL. That stands for transepidermal water loss. Because cotton is highly hydrophilic, which just means it absolutely loves water, it actively sucks moisture right into its core fiber structure. So, while you're sleeping, your bedding is literally drawing out natural sebum, perspiration, and critical moisture straight from your stratum corneum. It compromises your skin barrier and accelerates cellular aging simply by dehydrating you overnight.
So this brings up a fascinating open loop, especially for anyone invested in longevity and skin health. Why is your incredibly expensive, meticulously applied, multi-step nighttime skincare routine completely failing you while you sleep? I mean, you do all this work to apply serums and creams to support cellular repair, only to wake up feeling totally dry. Well, the answer lies exactly in the biophysics we were just talking about.
The surprising and honestly kind of frustrating reality is that cotton literally drinks your skincare products. Those expensive retinoids, hyaluronic acids, and peptide creams, yeah, they're being transferred directly from your face right into the fabric of your pillowcase. Not only does this drastically diminish the clinical efficacy of your whole routine, but it actually turns your pillowcase into a product-saturated, localized irritant that you then just rub your face against for 8 hours. No thank you.
Okay, let's look at the actual pathophysiology of sleep wrinkles, which is a stark contrast to normal aging. These are entirely different from the expression lines you get from, say, smiling or frowning. Sleep wrinkles are formed by intense mechanical forces. We're talking compression, tension, and shear forces when you sleep in a lateral or prone position. The sheer weight of your head presses your tissue against the fabric, causing the dermis to actually buckle along cutaneous fault lines. And over time, this repeated dermal buckling damages your collagen and elastin fibers, turning those temporary morning creases into completely permanent wrinkles.
Now, what's really interesting here is this profound clinical realization from Dr. Gozal Anson. Your dermatologist's most famous injectable does absolutely zero for these specific wrinkles. Because sleep wrinkles are caused by external mechanical compression, not underlying muscle contractions, botulinum toxin, Botox, is entirely useless here. There is literally no muscle to relax. You simply cannot inject your way out of mechanical skin distortion. Wild, right?
Let's look at some hard, empirical data to prove this isn't just a surface-level issue. When we map out how friction coefficients vary across the human anatomy, the values for the chest and torso are significantly higher than, say, the back of the forearm. What this proves is that our skin isn't just some uniform wrapping, it is a highly complex, regionally specialized sensory network that interacts with our environment in profoundly different ways.
This biological map reveals a super counterintuitive truth about human tactile perception. The front of our bodies, the chest, the inside of the forearm, the torso, is way more sensitive to tactile discomfort and stickiness than the back. And why is that? Well, researchers believe it's deeply rooted in our evolutionary defense mechanisms. Think about it. The front of our body houses our most vital organs. We are biologically wired to be hypersensitive on our front side purely as a survival mechanism. This is exactly why a scratchy sheet on your chest doesn't just feel slightly annoying. It literally spikes your nervous system and yanks you right out of deep sleep.
And if we dig even deeper into the biometrics, we see a distinct, positive correlation between local skin temperature and dynamic friction. Basically, as your skin temperature rises, the friction coefficient goes right up with it. To put it simply, when you get hot, your skin becomes stickier against your sheets, and that creates more mechanical drag, more discomfort, and more of those tiny nervous system micro-awakenings that totally ruin your rest.
So why does this matter? Well, this is absolutely critical for your brain health and overall longevity. Deep sleep actually demands a drop in your core body temperature. By acting as a dynamic, natural thermoregulator, silk wicks away heat and safely guides your nervous system down into those deep, restorative sleep cycles where maximum cellular repair happens. By reducing both that thermal stress and the physical friction, you are actively facilitating your brain's nightly maintenance routine.
But hold on, before you rush out to completely overhaul all your bedding, we have to decode a massive, highly misleading industry myth. As with pretty much any powerful health intervention out there, the market is totally flooded with deceptive terminology, designed to confuse you. If we actually want to capture these exact biophysical benefits we've been talking about, we need to know exactly what to look for.
So here is your bulletproof blueprint. When it comes to silk, I need you to completely erase the concept of thread count from your mind. Thread count applies to cotton. For silk, the absolute gold standard metric is called mommy weight, which measures the density and weight of the silk in grams per square meter. The clinical sweet spot for balancing durability, breathability, and that skin-protecting smoothness is right between 19 and 22 mame.
Let's make sure you really take this away, because this is exactly where people get scammed. If you see a brand enthusiastically claiming to sell 600 thread count silk, run the other way. Seriously. It's a deceptive trap that relies on your knowledge of cotton to sell you a highly inferior silk product. The very silk claiming that high thread count is usually only hitting around a super fragile 19 mame anyway. Always demand the mommy verification to ensure you're actually getting those structural biophysical benefits.
Okay, let's tie this all together into an actionable blueprint for engineering your absolute optimal sleep microclimate. To truly hack your nighttime recovery, you want to switch to a 19 to 22 mame pure protein-based silk. That's going to eliminate that abrasive grid and completely halt transepidermal water loss. Plus, it naturally lowers your skin temperature, which sets the perfect stage for deep sleep. And to truly protect this highly sensitive healing window, clinical guidelines suggest optimizing your entire room's microclimate. That means doing things like cutting out blue light an hour before bed, which otherwise totally delays the very deep sleep phases your new bedding is trying to induce.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Every single night, you are plugging your body into an environment that is either passively aging you through friction and dehydration, or it's actively supporting your cellular repair, longevity, and metabolic health. Now that you've seen the actual data, are you still going to treat your bed as just a collection of random fabrics? Or will you take control of this hidden operating system and master your nightly biomechanics? The choice, quite literally, is yours to sleep on.